Call this public hearing to order. If you're here tonight to listen or comment, reference the new State of Illinois Gaming Act and listening to the possibilities of the City of Belleville adopting this act, you're in the right place. We're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll have a few opening comments, and the whole purpose of tonight is to take comments, and we'll have the pledge, and then I'll put a few ground rules down, okay? Please stand.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't want to assume, but I will tell you, most of you probably figured out by now that I am Mayor Mark Eckert, and I will preside over tonight's hearing. The aldermen are in their seats right here. Most all of them are here. It was not a required meeting, but most of them are present, and some may be coming in yet. And our city clerk and our city treasurer is here. This meeting is being taped.
They can't hear you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Does that help if I get into the microphone? Ask them now.
Yeah, we did.
Can they hear that? Can we turn it up a little bit? Okay, I'll start over. Is this a little better? Okay. Thank you. We got quite a few people here tonight, and this is the first time we were trying to prepare, and we put a TV monitor. It is being recorded in here, and it is going to. There's people sitting out in the lobby, and hopefully they're able to be a part of this. We will allow them to come in and ask their questions as well. My opening comments tonight are that I ask everyone to be respectful, that I would ask you all to try to keep your comments with this large of a crowd to, no more than about 3 minutes. Mrs. Fields is going to help me kind of keep a track of the time. We can't have just long speeches, or we'll never get everybody get a chance. So please give your name and address when you speak. Speak into the microphone because it is being recorded, so that we can, collect the information and transcribe it. And like I said, please be respectful when other speakers are speaking. Regardless of your views, let's keep this in very good respect for each other. We're here tonight to listen, as I said. I can tell you that the tentative plans, and I say tentative, are to send this back to the Ordinance Committee next week, possibly, and it could come before the council as soon as the first Monday of August. But this is all still tentative, depending on how tonight and other things come, that, making sure that there's enough time for everybody to be heard and to work through any questions or anything that we need to research, etc. So, with that said, I'm going to do this as fair as I can. I want you to raise your hand. I'll be patient, and we'll give this as much time as it needs. We're only going to give everybody one chance to speak at a time, though, before we get through the room. And like I said again, I don't want to be argumentative. I just would like to, give everybody a chance to record their comments. So, whoever would like to raise their hand and begin, I will recognize the first person, and we'll just start to listen. So, who wants to be the brave soul to go first? In the back of the room. Come forward, please, and be ready to move so we can keep this going as quickly as possible. Please step up to the microphone and, like I said, speak into it so the people outside can also hear. And Craig, you might want to stick your head out there and ask them if they're hearing this okay.
Okay. I think they were.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Rose Wilson, 322 West I Street, Belleville. And right now I have mixed feelings about the gambling in Belleville. I remember sitting here many years ago when this council or whoever is left of this council was voting against it. I understand at that time it was illegal to gamble, but if a decision is made on bringing these loosey-loo things in here, and I don't even know what they are, I say it should be up to we the people, that it should be on a ballot in an election, and that we should be able to vote on it, and that it's not kind of put in front of us. And if it is for police officer funding, have you done an impact study, what these gambling places, how many, if we get 4 new police officers, and you have to use 2 of them to police these gambling institutions, and I'm pretty sure that crime will come with it. We're not gaining that much, so I'm really not very fond of the idea. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your time. Next. Who'd like to be next? Back of the room again. Back of the room's the bravest. Laurie, would you like to get a seat? There's a few seats up around here someplace, if you want to sit. Okay. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Michael Reed. I live on North 42nd here in Belleville. First of all, I'm a proud citizen of this town. Born and raised here. I enjoy Belleville. First of all, in relation to the gaming issue, my opinion is that not necessarily I'm against video poker. I just think there's certain places that maybe it should be located at versus putting them in shopping centers or places of that sort. Thank you very much.
Next, one moment.
Thank you. My name is Alex Enyard. I live at 704 East D Street in Belleville, and I'm not chicken to say that I'm opposed to allowing gaming in Belleville. While I'm probably one of the younger people here, I remember when there were gaming machines in Belleville. Oftentimes my parents would take us out on a Friday night to get a fish sandwich, and as a child I was drawn to these machines. And I realize now why I was drawn to them. They colors and lights and make noises, and all the adults were obsessed with them. And nowadays, video gaming, such as video poker or whatever machines they play now, are even more oriented to children through the use of cartoon characters and music and such. And I'm worried about the influence this will have on our children growing up. I also believe that allowing gambling will not benefit our city. East St. Louis claimed that allowing after-hours liquor sales benefit the city, but it only led to increased violence. They claimed that the riverboat gambling would fill the East St. Louis city's coffers, the city's and schools' coffers, but they've only contributed to corruption. They claim that allowing for adult entertainment promotes jobs in Washington Park, but it has only led to ruined lives. We don't need gambling in Belleville, and we don't want gambling in Belleville. Thank you.
Next.
Mr. Mayor, and anybody speaking, if you talk a little bit louder in the mic so they can hear you outside for you. Thank you.
If you'd like to speed this up, go ahead and select somebody that can queue behind me, and that way we don't have to wait for the pause here.
Go ahead and speak.
First, I'd like to thank the mayor for his timely response to my email questions about liquor licenses. That was helpful. During a previous meeting, I mentioned that it was a good idea. It was a good idea for people who are representing themselves as state-approved machine operators show proof that they've been approved by the State Gaming Board. This afternoon, I went to the Gaming Board website and printed a current list of approved applicants, and because there's such a backlog, I also printed the pending ones, along with revoked and denied applicants. I'd like to present this copy that be included in the minutes of this meeting.
Bring it to the clerk.
And I just ask this of everybody to think, it's like, are each and every one of you willing to lose $100 out of your pocket in order for the city of Belleville to gain $5 in tax revenue? Think about it that way. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, your name and address, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Michael Hagberg, 701 Centerville Ave.
Very good. Next. Come on up, sir.
My name is Brian Downs. I serve on two fronts. One, I'm a citizen that resides at 113 South Virginia, also associate pastor at Zion Country Church and School. I've been here since 2006. I come from a former state that had video gaming. I will tell you on a personal pastoral note that I have already counseled people who have been devastated with the destruction that comes from the high addictive nature of video gaming. More so by studies than regular gaming and going into a casino or those venues. The question I have for our council members and for you, Mayor Eckert, is what studies of risk have you already looked at regarding the high risk of the addictive nature regarding video gaming? And I will already tell you that I'm already opposed to video gaming. I would poll the audience and the people who are here. No one will raise their hand because they don't want to, but if you look at your cell phone and check your text messages at a stop sign, there's probably a pretty good sign that you might be addictive to things that cause addictive natures. I'd like to just share quickly a few of those regarding video poker machines being so addictive, according to the Journal of Gaming Studies, volume 12 from 1996. Immediate reinforcement coupled with no adverse auditory or visual cues, frequent near misses and small wins with less frequent larger wins, variable level of betting coupled with the illusion of skill, promoting an illusion of control over the stimulus and outcome, a wagering cap that tends to prolong play and thus promotes the illusion of competency, the ability to promote disassociative like experiences or a sense of escape, the ability to switch quickly to another type of gaming, then back again to a more preferred or familiar type. The machines pay credits for winning, thus contributing to the likelihood that the gambler will persist at play as opposed to stopping with money in hand. I beg the mayor to be different, and I beg the council members to be different in the city of Belleville. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay. Who's next? Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the General Assembly. Mr. Mayor. My name is Dave Tolignani. I reside at 839 Portland Avenue. I'm a citizen and a registered voter here in Belleville. I'm going to explain to you what I do for a living, and then I'll get into why I'm up here. I've established 10 years in the gaming business. I started working at Harris as a slot technician. After 5 years of doing that and learning my expertise in that field, I was commissioned to work at the Mere Place and opened that casino with 2,000 games, and then as well as River City, opening up that casino with 2,500 games. I want to bring up the fact about the people that are mentioning that these games, you just put in your money, it shows you your credits, you push a spin button, and your money disappears. The technology on these gaming devices have advanced so far within the last 10 years, and every 3 or 4 to 6 months, these casinos have to buy new equipment to keep up with how much they advance. You put your money in the game, it's very self-explanatory. All you've got to do is be 21 years old, number one, to be playing this game. A screen lights up, it tells you you want to play for a penny credit, a nickel of credit, a quarter of credit, $1 of credit. It gives you all the options. You have to read it. It won't let you play unless you make a decision first. So you've got to be on the ball before you go ahead and invest $1, $5, $10, $15. After you do that, you put your money in, you get to play, and there's a advanced technology that has a bonus. It's a random bonus. Yes, these cartoon figures come out there and they tell you the gorilla's got to make it through the gold mine. This guy's got to make it through that field and that field. It's an entertaining feature that is truly an elegant system to watch and enjoy. It's better than doing a lot of scratch off when you buy it at the liquor store. It's a fun position to be in when you're sitting there in the place. You'll enjoy it. And I believe me. It's self-explanatory not only on the touch screen but on the panels of the cabinet itself. So the player is fully aware. And there's also a position on the touch screen where It doesn't only show you the credits like that young gentleman said, that he was watching his parents 10 years ago. You touch that little spot, it shows you the cash, the dollar amount that is decreasing or increasing as you play the game. So that's, I wanted to enlighten you on the technology of how these games are advanced. The other point that I would like to make, as these 5 machines are implicated in each individual establishment, they're going to need maintenance. You've got dust coming in off the road, just like your appliances at home. Your air conditioner, your filters need to be changed. The same thing applies to these games. They need to be maintained. You're going to need, and not just in my being here, I've met 3 vendors that have given me their cards and said, we're going to need to hire you because we're going to need some help. Here in Belleville, for the past 10 years, I've had to drive to Missouri, an hour drive to Harris, a half-hour drive to River City. I would love to be able to be employed here in Belleville, not just as a slot technician that has a key to go ahead and air out the little dust bunnies that can cause problems in the game or anything like that. But they're going to be hiring people to go ahead and take care of the patron that's spending money there with drinks, food, and accommodate and make them comfortable while they're there. It's a fun and it's an open and it's a no-brainer to me that it's going to go ahead and cause revenue for the police that the mayor is going to hire and John Q employees that the city is going to need to hire for this. So I hope I've shed some light on the darkness of these games and thank you for the time.
Okay, next, yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Joe Ruger. I live over on 735 South Southwest. I was born and raised in Belleville. Obviously, I still live in Belleville and not planning on going anywhere. My parents, they owned a business in Belleville their entire life. And my first business was located right downtown at 118 West Main. It was a computer company. I eventually got into the entertainment industry and the hospitality industry and found out that that's where my passion is. I'm in the process of opening up a small restaurant located out here on Illinois Street, hopefully within the next 12 months. What a great turnout tonight. I mean, it's awesome to see everybody so passionate. But we need to not lose sight of one really critical point, and that's the fact that what we're looking at is our state government has already beat this thing up and down, left and right, and determined that it's legal. We all live in a country based on the fact that...
Speaking of Mike, Joe,
I'm sorry.
you're having
Thank you.
trouble outside.
Our city has proven itself more than capable of managing a hospitality-based industry in downtown. I'm simply determined that we should have the right to choose on an individual basis what's good for us and what's good for our individual bases. I'm a pretty simple guy. I just think that the local business owners should be able to decide if this is something that we want or we don't want. And then as consumers, they can decide whether they want to come in and participate. Thank you.
sir. Yes, sir.
Stuart Leonard, 318 South 29th Street. We heard from a couple of these out-of-town sharpies that are telling us how great gambling is, but you go over to that riverboats, I've been over there, not that I gamble, but a friend of mine likes to gamble. And you see about 500 zombies sitting at these machines, hour on end, pushing these buttons, and not a one of them do you see a smile on them like they're having a good time. I'm opposed to this gambling. The only people that will help are the owners of the machines. The police, the 4 police will be needed to help clean up the mess the gamblers make by additional crime. Families will be without income as one or both parents lose their money at the machines. Belleville will close 2 tax-paying taverns, Corner Pocket and Chuck's. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you have a line here. Go ahead. You'll be next.
I don't know which one.
Go ahead, sir. You're up there. Go ahead.
Okay. David Anderson, 6 Bellcrest. I've just got, in Belleville, I've got just 3 or 4 points to mention. I think, why do businesses want this, this additional gambling? And I think the answer is clear, that they know that they'll make money on doing it. And the reason they'll make money is because the odds always favor the house. They don't care if their customers lose. In fact, they're counting on them losing. This whole idea is based on the citizens losing money. And is it a good idea for the city leaders to really encourage their citizens to lose money? As I understand it, if we gain about $300,000 revenue for the city, won't the families or the citizens need to lose around $7 million? And if we're going to hire more police with the money that would be generated, wouldn't we also need to hire people to monitor this new program? My point is, who has extra money for new or additional gambling, especially in this economy? And I think we should stop kidding ourselves that this will hurt local businesses. This won't help them. And this will hurt families. We know where this new type of gambling money comes from. It's going to be diverted from basic necessities that could have supported government and could have supported local businesses, such as buying furniture and paying utilities, and your basic clothing, groceries, utilities, real estate taxes. And I say, what businesses really want this new type of gambling? Is it the kind that we read about in the newspaper that said Springfield investors want it because they have identified a new target group of gamblers that haven't gambled before? If that's correct, then that should be of concern to us. They said they want to target young mothers. Where are they going to get the money? Is it from clothing allowances or that they have, or groceries, or is it from savings? And taverns in the neighborhoods, is that really a good idea to have to encourage people who've been drinking to make it easier for them to gamble? And does anybody really believe that people will drive from this community to another community just to do a new type of video gambling? So in summary, I'm saying that this is not good policy, and it does not promote values for citizens or for children. It's not good for Belleville neighborhoods, and just because others are doing it is not at all good reasoning to say that we should do it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Casey. I own 9 Moons on the corner of Wabash and McClintock. Been there 8 years. I think that there's a couple things that's being expressed here that is not really correct. I think you need to look at the fact that it isn't the local bar or wherever the establishment may be that you decide to go gamble. It's at the convenience stores. It's not the idea of any of these spaces that oppose us come in my place. I never seen them even coming for the wings shoot for a quarter. So I'll be honest with you, I don't think that we need to look at the whole picture here because, you know, whether I see a guy come in my bar and lose a paycheck or $100, I know one guy here in town that lost his home at the gambling bill. So that's to each's opinion. I mean, there's not really much. There is agencies for that, I understand. But like I said, for the people that's going to oppose it, you don't come in here to buy a 50-cent soda. I mean, I don't think the time and place for people to do it is already there. Whether it's a convenience store, dropping a couple $100. I don't know if you were in to get a Coke before and you got to wait for the guy to find $100 for lottery tickets. What's the difference? I mean, these people will not be in my bar that's opposing us. I guarantee you that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, unlike most of you, I was born and raised in East St. Louis. Have any of you been through St. Louis lately?
What's your name and address, please?
Laura Simonich, 7519 Claymont Court.
Thank you.
Do you know what it's like not to have a home to go to, a neighborhood to visit? Do you want that to happen to your Belleville? we're having a carrot dangled in front of us, whereby we're being told, if you give me this, I may give you 4 more policemen. I doubt that 4 more policemen could cover the events that are going to happen if we have these gambling machines all over the place. I was at a meeting recently where it was discussed how big Belleville is and how hard it is for our policemen to cover all of Belleville because of the way that it's laid out. How can we even respond to all these different areas where there could be issues because of these machines? I would say maybe we get 4 more policemen because of the revenue, but we'll probably need 12 to 16. Casinos, that will be thrown up to us. Well, there's casinos. Casinos, has anybody looked at how much casinos spend on security? And that's a confined area. We're not confined with these businesses that want these machines. How does it affect people's welfare and their economy? We're already in bad straits. We're going to entice them to spend their money. And I'm sorry, you know, that the odds are not in favor of the people putting their money into those machines. Who's going to police it? People only 21 years and older are using the machines. I just feel that we need to pay attention to areas that are going to bring more bigger revenue generating businesses to Belleville, not getting into sleazy areas. Take my invitation, veer off of Missouri Avenue in East St. Louis to the side streets. It looks like a third world country, and it's moving up the hill. And we're inviting more people to come up the hill. Pretty soon we'll probably have our bars open until 5 a.m. and have more murders. Is that what we're looking for in a city? I think we should be spending our time looking at, we might not even need more policemen. There's going to be a meeting here Thursday night, which I hope everyone will attend, where an ordinance is going to be discussed. That ordinance has sat around for a while. Now, there may be reasons for that, but let's concentrate our efforts in getting the riffraff out of Belleville and not bringing more riffraff into Belleville. Thank you.
My name is John Burris. I live in 411 Avenue.
Can you raise a little bit, John?
I'm the owner of Cutters over here in the East End and the owner of Tim Joe's. Between the two, I employ about 45, 50 people. I want the game. We had it before it was illegal where they told us to take machines out. We had no trouble. Cops weren't there to arrest anybody. As far as policing it now, believe me, I've been fingerprinted, interviewed, everything with the gaming board. They do more checks than anybody. As far as the people coming up here saying they're against it, I understand that. I've never seen any of them in my businesses. Nobody tells you you have to plan. If you want, you plan. If you don't, a lot of people go to the boats. They go because they want to. Nobody forces them to go down there. Smithen, Freeburg, Fairview Heights, Shiloh, of all, St. Clair County, have all legalized it. They don't come to our place. We don't have it. They're going to go there. Will I exist? Yeah, I'll probably still be around. I won't do as good. I can see putting a few more people on, or at least keeping my people. Business right now is rough. As rough as it's ever been. I want gaming. I'd like to have it. Nobody forces you to play it, and I thank you for listening to me.
Nice looking gang tonight. Mr. Mayor, Alderman, and guests, I've been involved here, and my family's been involved here for 75 years.
Can you give me your name, please?
Yeah.
I know you.
Okay, Ken Fisher, Belleville, Illinois, US of A. I'm proud of Belleville. I mean, I remember Belleville years ago was kind of run down and so forth, but our mayor and the alderman did an excellent job. And I can tell you one thing, in 75 years in business here, I've never gone to the city council or the alderman and asked for anything, asked for any money. And I've done it on my own, and I think things are going fine. And I think the problems we're having right now is financial problems with smaller businesses. And we're in a pinch, and John, he doesn't have a pinch, he's got all the business. But the small businesses, they're having a tough time, and it isn't, and if we can just keep these people in Belleville that are going to casinos, I think casinos and play the machines here, there'll be extra money coming in for the owners, and it'll be fine. But that's about all I got to say, and I'm proud of Belleville, I'm proud of these mayor and his group. Yeah, these are my one daughter and a manager. You gonna say anything on that?
Well, I just want to say that I'm Annette Fisher, Belleville, Illinois, Fisher's Restaurant, 2100 West Main. We're struggling, we're all struggling big time. And it is because of probably a lot of casinos and that, a lot of people go to the casinos, we feel. So we want to help people, we want to help Belleville out, we want to help ourselves out, and I think we'll just help everyone out. We have enough people to police with machines. We're all for it. We are so for it. Thank you.
I'm Corey Bell, manager at Fisher's Restaurant. You know, gambling's not evil. It's how you run with it. You overeat, you overdrink, you overspend. It's the same thing. We are struggling, and we just need help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marilyn B. Marsh, Stevie Ray's Bar and Grill, 9735 West Main Street. I live in Swansea. I think I can speak for a number of the bars here in town. We are very regulated. The state makes sure we buy liquor certain places. We have health inspections. We have liquor commission coming around. And it's been very rigorous to get the gambling machines into our place. We're very regulated. We've had to go through testing and you know, applications and all that, you know. I think what people don't quite understand is we need that also. And the thing that they're not looking at is who's coming into our bar to play these machines. They're your neighbors. They're your neighbors, and they're your neighbors. They're not coming in from other communities. I'm not going to drive to Lebanon to go play video machines. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to my neighborhood tavern. And if not everybody has a gambling problem, there's evils all around us. So don't go on and put it all in the gambling machines. There's people that are going to play them, and there's people that's going to go to the boats and play that. I would say every one of us has an addiction of some sort. Thank goodness mine is books and Christmas ornaments, but you know, we all have addictions of some sort. And you know, it's up to you to realize what your addiction is and to police yourself. But like I say, the people that are coming to do these machines are the neighbors. And if you want an addiction, try the lottery. It's a big one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Eckert. Mary Fisher, Belleville, Illinois, 6 Marshall Lane Court. I'm not going to take long. For one thing, I want to reiterate what Rose Wilson said. I believe we need this on the ballot in November. There's a lot of people here. We're going to hear from a lot more, and it's probably not 50-50 yet, but we'll only know that if it's on the ballot. Second thing I want to say is I have known people who gamble. I watch their faces, and for me, I've been to the boat once with a church group, just kind of for fun. I lost my money and I quit. But I've watched people that gamble, and it's not about winning the money. It's about the thrill of whether I'm going to win this game, whether it's horse racing, whether it's the boats, or whatever. The other thing, the security issue, we had a lady killed about 1.5 years ago coming out of a bingo hall. So what might happen if there are people watching those that might be in the gambling places, whatever they might have there, and know that they won a considerable amount of money. And the last thing is, a couple of other people have said it, about if we're able to hire the extra policemen because of this revenue, we may need them. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
My name is Gary Raymond. I live in Belleville. I'm also the owner and operator of Raymond's Place Restaurant in Belleville on West Main. I can relate to just about everything that's said by everybody on both parties here. I myself claim to be a spiritual individual. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't gamble. I own a restaurant with a liquor license. I don't have a bar in my license. I serve liquor as a service for somebody to have their highball or their glass of beer with a burger. I don't, if people walk into my bar and thinking it's a bar, I escort them out the door. I have the right to refuse service to anybody, okay? And it's the same way with the gaming license. A lot of people don't understand the restrictions that was brought up briefly by one individual, but the restrictions based upon the liquor license control. We do any type of violation, we lose our liquor license. I have a lottery license, I lose a lottery license, and if I violate, I lose my gaming license. Also, a lot of people aren't aware that it's just 5 machines, 5 people at a given time. It isn't like 100, 200 people, and plus it's in a private, secure environment. I have a family restaurant. I wouldn't jeopardize, and I appreciate the respect of the Reverend. I don't believe, I even feel somewhat guilty of children coming to my restaurant and watching a person having a cocktail. But it's a service that I have to give, okay? There will be no children watching people gambling and hooting and hollering. It'll be in a private back room, totally secure. My customers will not see that. Hopefully, I do not lose any customers because of it. You, young lady, you are a friend, and I hope I don't lose you as a customer over it. But yet I appreciate your feelings and respect about it. I also want to say that other than Belleville, every county surrounding Belleville, whether it's Clinton County, Monroe County, and plus several municipalities within St. Clair County that are still operating illegal gambling. O'Fallon has illegal, every VFW, every American Legion, a lot of church, Catholic organizations all have illegal gambling machines. How much crime do you see taking place in the VFW and American Legions? How much crimes in O'Fallon, or Clinton County, and Monroe? And these places have 10, 15, 20 machines lined up, and they're all illegal, okay? I respected Mark Kerr when he was mayor to get what's illegal out of Belleville. I respect Mayor Mark Eckert that's upheld those standards. Illegal is illegal. But I truly believe that the standards of this gaming system controlled and operated by a state, which is 5 machines and only a $500 payout. If I was a thief, a crackhead, a robber, I sure wouldn't be waiting outside of a 5 machine, waiting on somebody to hit a big jackpot of $500. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and Council, my name is George Ewell. I reside in 540 South Missouri. I'm here to speak against this proposed ordinance for the simple reason that you bring gambling in this close to our neighborhoods, and I know I've heard, we're sitting here listening to bar owners, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to lower property values in the city, the reputation of Belleville. I was at my office today in St. Louis. It's all over the news. And it was frankly a joke in our office, people living in Illinois being kidded about the proposed ordinance in Belleville for gaming machines, for video gaming. Once you get gambling in, you're never going to get rid of it if it becomes a nuisance, because the gambling interests are simply going to be paying politicians, giving them contributions when they come up for re-election. That's what happens. We'll never get rid of it if we let it in. I didn't think in my lifetime, and I've lived here my entire life, to be sitting here listening to arguments to bring gambling into this community, when I think about every church in town here has a gambling anonymous group battling the scourge that we have within our communities. Sure, it's down at the boat because the state let it in within our state borders, and it's something we have to deal with. It's a social problem, and it shouldn't be in Belleville. Thank you.
Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, 501 South Douglas.
Your name?
Ed Metzger. In a given area, there is a limited amount of money. That money circulates. It's used to buy goods and services. The people who provide those goods and services turn around and purchase more goods and services. If that pool of money increases, there will be more goods and services provided. And eventually, as that pool of money increases, there will be more employment because there will be more people needed to provide those goods and services. But the opposite is true. If that pool of money shrinks, then there will be less money circulating through the system. And there will be less income and less employment. Now, gambling siphons money out of that pool. And when it does, it's going to hurt the community. Now, you might not feel this the first year or two, but wait 5 years. And if you businesses are thinking you've got problems now, wait till people stop coming in altogether. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tim Little, 216 Sheridan Drive. I don't have a lot to say, but I'll say right off the bat that I'm totally opposed to this. It's just I have family members that have problems, gambling addictions, and I know what very little small amount of revenue this is going to generate. It's just not worth the cost. To people and families. Not to mention, the image that it's going to project in the city. We tout Belleville as this all-American city, and then we want to bring in all this gambling just to make a couple of dollars. It's just not worth it.
Scott Tyler, 26 Ben Lewis. Mayor, I'm not here to argue for or against legalized gambling in Belleville. There's many positives and negatives for both sides. Sure, I'd like to see more police officers. I'd like to see the business owners make more money. But there's also going to come some crime with that, I think. But I'd like for the council to consider this. You've estimated Belleville is going to make $300,000 per year. That sounds like quite a bit of money. But actually, it's a mere 5% of what they're going to take in. In order for that to happen, these machines are going to need to take in $6 million a year from the area residents. Of this $6 million, the state's going to get 1.5, the city's going to get 300,000, and the machine and bar owners are going to get 4.2 million every year. That's quite a significant amount of money. This is why you have longtime lobbyists suddenly wanting to set up shop in Belleville. They're not coming here to build hotels. They're not coming here to open restaurants. But now that we're talking about gambling, suddenly here they come. This is why I'd like the council to consider this. The Video Gaming Act allows non-home rule cities to charge $25 per machine. But for home rule cities such as Belleville, Chicago, there is no such cap. This was actually done so Chicago would be able to set any set amount that they wanted should they choose to opt in, which they currently have not. Belleville, as a home rule city, also qualifies as this. I'm asking the council to consider a gambling establishment fee and charge a yearly fee on top of the 5% they will receive. I've estimated there's probably going to be about 100 establishments with machines. So instead of these 100 establishments machine owners splitting $4.2 million, I'd like to see the council charge each business $1,000 a year as a gambling establishment fee. They're still going to be splitting $4.1 million, based on your numbers. Yet increase the city's income by 33%, from $300,000 to $400,000. I've spoken with 2 law firms with expertise in the Illinois Gaming Act, and both said this is not only a possibility, it's legal, and Belleville is not the first city to consider it. So before you make your decisions, please consider keeping as much of this local money here in Belleville where it belongs. Thank you.
Patty Gregory, 4 Raintree Woods, Belleville, Illinois. According to Belleville's mission statement that's on their website, Belleville's elected officials, its appointed and employed staff, and all individuals representing the city will strive to enhance the quality of life for all its citizens and engage in ongoing planning and development designed to preserve and enhance the city's traditions and values. Since the beginning of our city, almost 200 years ago, literature, theater, education, all cultural forms, and spiritual life have been a part of our history, our values, and our traditions. Explain to me how gambling fits into this picture. Home of the second oldest Philharmonic in the nation, the oldest subscription library in the state of Illinois, home of the nationally ranked Art on the Square, home of many dance studios and companies, including the traditional Christmas performance of the Nutcracker, home of 3 history organizations, several artists guilds, and many other fine volunteer organizations, over 65 different churches, including the only synagogue south of Springfield, and home of one of the largest historical areas in the state of Illinois. A city that has 3 museums, the Labor and Industry Museum, Emma Kuntz House, and the St. Clair County Historical Museum, and in the near future, the 4th with the Gustav Kerner Home. Since all of these museums are located by small mom-and-pop bars or neighborhood restaurants, can we expect to take the tour buses to visit the museums and then gamble? Are we going to take gambling directly into our neighborhoods? And really, soccer moms, gambling in strip malls? Is this enhancing or preserving the city's tradition and value, which is part of the mission statement of this city? Many organizations and thousands of volunteers have continued to support these values and traditions started by our founding fathers. Yet we are standing here debating gambling that doesn't fit anywhere in these values or traditions. We are talking about an estimated $300,000 in revenue, which means $6 million will be lost by patrons using these machines. Discretionary income gone that could have been spent at local businesses for food, clothing, and family needs. Sales tax gone, plus loss of business clientele, which eventually will lead to businesses folding. We also have 2 higher education institutions with many students over 21. Should we give them an easy way to lose their money? The mayor of Edwardsville has stated that they have standards for their city. The mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, has stated not on his watch. Will this city council strive to enhance the quality of life for all its citizens? Will they engage in ongoing planning and development to preserve and enhance the city's traditions and values? Will this council continue to follow the city's mission statement? Will this council be able to say, not on our watch?
Good evening. My name is Maureen Morris. I live at 618 South Jackson Street here in Belleville. And I just appreciate this time to speak to you. I'm going to change the format a little bit. I don't have a written statement. I just would like to ask some pertinent questions. And if you've all picked up one of these, it's not going to be difficult for you to follow this, okay? Mayor, in 2009, the state passed this expanded bill, all right? In that time period, have you been able to meet with several of the vendors and or lobbyists? And could you explain those meetings to us, please?
Ma'am, this is not going to be a question and answer. We're not going to start that. It's not even going to quiz everybody. No, I really haven't.
I thought maybe you did have a little bit more input, is what I was asking.
There's been a few, but Mrs. Fields and I and a few of the city officials have met and listened to a few people's presentations, but we've not had, and I'm not going to go down the litany. This is not going to be a Q&A here.
Okay, all right, fine.
Please give your comments.
Okay, all right. You mentioned, okay, in the newspaper, not too long ago, that we were able to get a positive reaction from the new sales tax that had been applied. And it was stated in the newspaper about possibly building a new police station, okay? Some of us get a little confused when today we hear we're on troubled times again, right? Now, I can't switch thoughts that quick, okay? For police officers, you mentioned $300,000. I don't know how many of you are aware of, but most of the police officers start out at a wage somewhere in the neighborhood between $45,000 and $55,000. Okay? The Belleville News Democrat has a site that you can go on and look at public employees' wages. They include their overtime. We have officers that are pulling down overtime to the tune of $30,000 per year. That says we are severely undermanned at the police department. I'm not sure that the $300,000 that is listed in this estimate, does this cover the squad cars? Because after all, we have a squad car that sits on the west end that nobody mans. It doesn't move off the lot. Okay? Finally, we also mentioned, okay, that we might be seeing staff members, okay, in the development line. We hired Emily Foltz back as, I thought, our developer. We gave her a raise and we gave her that title. She has to work on our very next, okay, comprehensive plan. It is a requirement through the state of Illinois that you must do this, okay? So I thought we at least had that position pretty well covered. I read in this particular synopsis that we may be adding a city developer. So I'm a little confused on that.
We've been a person charged for a couple of years. We had an additional person in that department, and that's my point.
Well, thank you for clearing this up, because that's what I wanted. I'm not understanding, okay? I'm getting different readings here.
Aren't we here to talk about gaming?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to ask some questions what we're going to do with the money.
You're getting close to your 3 minutes.
Okay? The other thing is, there's a sentence here that I think we all should clear up. I am concerned about those cities who opt out of the state capital project program risk a disadvantage for future consideration of capital projects within their city. In 2009, when the state decided to do this, it was discussed that maybe they would add this to the law. It never got formulated enough to get in that law, nor 15 other revisions of it, okay? What is on the mayor's desk right now, okay, the governor's desk right now, has no penalty for any city if they decide to opt out. The Attorney General also says, all right, that when this passes and the governor signs it, if you have a law barring it, that new state law doesn't undermine the local law.
Thanks, man.
Cindy Anderson, 524 Park Avenue. I'm here because I'm opposing the video gambling. What I have here is all kinds of communities here that have opted out. All kinds of them. I personally have talked to Gene O'Shea, the spokesman of the Illinois Gaming Board. He has specified that there will be no fines and no penalties upon our community or anybody else that decides to opt out of this. I have also spoke to the chairman of the Illinois Gaming Commission. He has specified that no matter how many rules and regulations there are, it will not prohibit illegal activity. I also have a report here from a criminal stating that legalized gambling is like prostitution or recreational drugs. It cannot be enforced. Scams. Illinois Gaming Board already has a notice out that there is people out there that are claiming that they're Illinois gaming representatives. To beware. There's already an indictment, 2012, brand new. The corporation went through a background check, everything came up clean, and then turns out that they were doing illegal activity. is all these people, all these communities that opt out to protect their citizens wrong? Are they? Is all these people wrong? That's my question. Thank you.
Roger Wigginton, 8020 West Main. Linda, I've got about a 2-minute prepared statement, and then I got an Illinois Business Journal today with some very interesting figures in here about the state of the gaming in Illinois. Okay, Mr. Mayor, City Council, you've heard the arguments, you've heard the pros and cons, you've heard the impassioned pleas. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is a very difficult decision you have to make. Maybe the most difficult you'll ever make. Your decision could affect this all-American city for decades to come. Although this increased revenue sounds like the solution, it is really a quick fix. It is like putting a very small Band-Aid on a very huge wound. The state of Illinois is technically bankrupt. Every town and city is realizing the same shortfall in revenues as Belleville. Running a city is like running a business, being fiscally responsible, being proactive, not reactive, doing the most with what we have. But what are the repercussions of video gaming 5, 10, 15 years from now? Have you thought about that? Where does video gaming and gaming halls stop? Lucy Company is renting space in strip malls at premium prices. Do you really think they believe that 5 gaming machines will pay the overhead? Since the owner of the Lucy Company is a lobbyist in Springfield, is it possible that in 5 years, bars and gambling halls can have 8, 10, 12 machines? This is not out of the realm of possibility. Will video gaming machines eventually end up in VFWs, American Legions, church basements? Could we end up with thousands of these machines in Belleville? Can 4 extra police officers contend with the possible security problems, or will we need additional 20 officers? What about our children and grandchildren? This council will be gone. But have you thought about the subculture video gaming or gambling might create? Belleville is a wonderful place to live, to raise children. It is a city with a spirit of giving and volunteering. Belleville is in a very enviable position. Our neighbors watch what we do. They follow our example. Are we going to be the leaders in turning down video games? Are we going to be another pawn in this huge industry? Is East St. Louis, the city and school district, in better shape with the revenues of the casino queen? I think not. I truly believe we need more than one public hearing. The people have the right to be heard. I strongly urge you to consider moving to a larger venue in the near future to allow further discussion. All you see is dollars and cents. You've done no research on what cultural problems could arise. The Lucy Company presented itself as a type of Starbucks to Edwardsville. O'Fallon is taking a wait-and-see attitude. Swansea has turned down video gaming. Why are we rushing headlong into making an immediate decision? Think about that. As we approach our 200th anniversary, are we going to look back at our proud heritage, or are we going to be looking at a city that is sinking like the Titanic? Because we did not do our due diligence. Illinois Business Journal today. Here's some figures. This is very interesting. They say timing is everything. Public bonds issue slashed by 60% due to video gaming delays. There's a gentleman back here that said the state of Illinois can run this. The state of Illinois can't run anything. The state of Illinois is a dysfunctional family that's bankrupt. So here's what came out of this. They have a new Illinois Jobs Now that they wanted to put $4.3 billion into it. They're only able to put $1.6 billion, which is actually going to go to transportation. And the reason is because, and all this was going to go into schools, bridges, high-speed rail, so on and so forth. The revenue to service the bonds would come from a variety of sources, including higher liquor taxes and widespread video gaming. Well, a company in Chicago, Works Beverage, does about $1.5 billion in business a year, filed a lawsuit against the city. They had that liquor tax overturned. Now, the problem is video gaming has yet to generate any money. It was projected to produce $375 billion per year for the state, with another piece of the pie going to hosting local governments. But video gaming has proven to be less than popular with local governments. Some 78 communities, and it's now closer to 200, have voted to ban the game since the law passed, and Chicago is not expected to lift its pre-existing ban. Nearly 40% of the state's population is located in areas that have outlawed the games. Well, but another problem, according to Doug Whitley, President and Chief Executive of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, is the Illinois Gaming Board. Okay, let me just, Mary, just one more quote here, then I'll be done here. He said here, "We are 3 years later and Gaming Board has just failed miserably." Now, this goes on and on and on. And it talks about the fact that they can't even get a computer system put together. They can't put this deal together. So if people are saying, don't worry, they're going to run this thing, it's 3 years and they can't run it, so they're not going to be able to run it in the future. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Scott, and I'm not running for office. I see a lot of people are. I'm not looking for votes. I'm not wanting to get elected. I want to do what's best for Belleville. I'm a resident of Belleville for 43 years. I sell chicken wings and hamburgers. I try to sell a lot of beer because the beer and the liquor is where the money's at, okay? There's a lot of opposition to gambling. The liquor and beer is probably where most of your problems are, not the gamblers. Machines have been in bars and restaurants being paid in Belleville. I don't want to specify Belleville, but in the surrounding areas. I hear safety is a big concern. Safety is not your problem. Nobody is coming after those people that have played games illegally and gotten paid, okay? The liquor is where your problem is at. We are the most tightly restricted group of businessmen, I think, out there. We have dram shop insurance, liquor liability, personal damage, and workers' comp. We are protected. The citizens, you're not going to see more crime because there's a gambling machine at a bar. Okay, you see crime because there's liquor, there's late hours, there's problems with selling booze. We are all restricted. The gaming companies are making sure all the patrons are safe. More cops. You cannot give away free money. I know you think gambling's the devil. I was never around for Prohibition. I remember when, I guess I've seen bits and pieces about Prohibition. We got through Prohibition. We're going to get through gambling. Gambling is a part of the culture. It's not going to change. You're not going to change it because you live next to a bar that sells booze. You're already dealing with problems. Okay, you have late night police calls at these bars because it's the liquor that's the problem. Liquor's here to stay. It's not going away. We tax it. We use it to provide police, firemen. This is free money. As far as the wait and see approach, I know O'Fallon's waiting to see, Swansea's waiting to see. They are simply delaying the inevitable. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's scratch-offs, church picnics. I've heard a lot of churches. I know one thing. The best dice game I've ever been in was at the church picnic, okay? It was unbelievable. I was 18. I was playing dice. I didn't think I could ever lose. I didn't become addicted. I couldn't wait for the picnic next year, however. Okay? It happens. It's not going to change. I would get on board with it. Try to be positive, okay? You are safe. The mayor, the police, everyone's trying to make sure you're safe, but we simply need the revenues. I'm not going to prosper. I'm looking at having possibly 2 machines. That's it. My place is not set up for a bank of machines. I don't have a private room. My machines are going to be in a bar top, just like when you go to the casino. All right? That person will have to be 21. There will be no children allowed near the gaming machines. All right? It is up to the person to card this individual because they're going to be getting a drink. If they're in the bar, they have to be 21. So we are safe. We are protected. The safety issue is the one that bothers me the most because you're not going to see an increase in crime. There's already crime at bars because there's cash. We do not let our staff members walk out alone because the drunk out there knows that that girl or boy is leaving with cash in their pocket. They're always a victim. The gaming is not going to make a difference on whether they're more of a target or not. All right? It's part of the culture. Let's not delay this and let somebody else get the money. Belleville needs the money. Thank you.
Excuse me 1 second. Scott, for the record, give us your address. Scott, your spelling last name?
Oh, I'm not ready for all that. My name's Scott at 313 East Main. Schmelzel, S-C-H-M-E-L-Z-E-L. come on down to Big Daddy's anytime and get a cheeseburger. We need you. Okay? We're broke just like everybody else. Come help me out. I don't need a gaming machine. I need customers. Any customer, all right? I don't care about a video machine. Come get a beer and a burger.
Yeah, I'm Jim Morris, 618 South Jackson. Paper says that Luigi wants to, target the soccer mom. Okay, Saturday morning, soccer mom takes Junior down to the soccer field, drops him off, says, I'm going to get a cool drink. We'll do a little gambling up there. Takes her grocery money, next thing up, $5 in the machine. Okay, fine. Next time she's in it, hamburger money, buck money. Pretty soon, grocery money's gone. Meanwhile, Junior's at the ballpark all by himself looking, where the heck is mom? I've been sitting back, keep the score of all the speakers up here. And the Alderman, I'll have to keep this in memory. I have 6 people for, 17 against. When you vote in August or whatever, what's that? Well, I got 3 iffies. Never did state, for or against. When you vote in August or whenever it comes up, keep this in mind. We don't want it.
Step up here, sir, if you'd like to speak. And come on up.
I don't know what everybody's been saying, I just got here.
So give your name and address first.
Keith, Resch.
Your address?
822 South High in Belleville.
Thank you.
And I think it's a bum idea. It's been about 17 years since I've been in, the bars. But honestly, I've seen a lot of guys go in there and spend 2 or 3 hours walking around with those machines and losing an entire paycheck. And next thing you know, they're aggravated and they're doing something stupid to get the money back that they had lost. So that's just my opinion.
This? Mary McHugh, 10503 West Main, Belleville. Mark, you've been a wonderful mayor, and we hope that you will continue to be. I really am not sure how I feel about this. I know that we need the money, but I'm afraid it can be a quick gain and a lot of pain further down the road. I know places in Belleville that simply cannot use these machines. But here's what I really think, and I'll make it real short. This is too much. We've gone too far. We have too great a city. I liked what Patty Gregory said. She brought to us how great we are here in this city. But I think it's too much for you to bear, and I think it's too much for this council to bear. I think we need to go to the city of Belleville. Now, we have people here, we have a lot of people here, but this is nothing like our citizens in Belleville. Can't we put this off and put it on the ballot? And if that's what our city wants to do, then I will support it. But I just think it's too much for you. We've gone too far, we've done too good. Let's let the citizens decide and not jump into this too quickly. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Larry Moore, 214 North Virginia Avenue. And I've been sitting outside most of the time listening or trying to listen because the sound isn't the greatest, and some of the things I've been hearing, some of the things we can't. Maybe nobody out there can hear a word I'm saying, but whatever. I think what the lady just said is a very good idea to have a citywide referendum on this issue. I think it's a very important issue. I personally am against it, against changing it. I know there's a lot of people who have spoken here who own small bars and so forth, and who are looking at their future earnings and livelihoods and so forth. But like some of the speakers who said before,
I'm concerned with the quality of life in the city. And we have many, as Patty Gregory said, many great things going for the city. I think this is, to go back to the Andy Griffith show, where Andy Griffith, as we all know, just recently died. One of the early episodes he had was with Opie, and he had this guy who came into town and who would make fishing lures, and Opie really liked this guy. He really wanted to be like this guy, and this guy was a hobo, as it turned out. He was an okay hobo, but he was still a hobo. Well, Andy didn't want him to be like that. He wanted him to make himself something of himself. And so he made the analogy. He said, you know, it's like this shiny fishing lure, you know? It looks so great and wonderful, but you find out later there's a hook in it, you know? And that's what I'm concerned about this whole issue. I think, you know, to make a few $100,000, if that's what we'll end up making, but to have to lose, like it's been mentioned before, millions of dollars to make those hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think that's beneath us. I think that's something that we should not do. And I think that we should basically say, Belleville, I don't care what other communities are saying that are voting for it, that's their own decision. People have said there's a lot that are voting against it, and that's their own decision too. But I think Belleville should be a leader in standing up for what is right and what is the higher plane, so to speak. And I say that we should not allow this to happen in our city. Thank you.
My name is Kathleen Kaiser. I live at 124 Street Drive in Belleville. I would like to first share that even though many of you may not have seen me in your businesses, I have been a part of your businesses for my entire life. The bottom line is many of us have worked very hard to give the outside world a positive perception of our city. My fear is that this is going to bring a negative perception from the outside. Of course, I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize the businesses of our city or not give them an opportunity to make more money. But the bottom line is it's not going to just be the people from Belleville who are going to be coming to these establishments to play these video games. I think for all of us, it needs to be considered every avenue before we make the decision that we're going to move forward, that this is the most positive way that we can get the 4 policemen or so that we need. I'm not saying that we don't need more safety and security within our city with the size that it is. What I'm saying is, I think that we all need to think long and hard. You know, I'll go buy more burgers from Scott's if he's not gonna, you know, put a video game there that may jeopardize the future of our city. Thank you.
Anyone on the whole like to go? Yes, ma'am, step on up.
Hi, it's Joy Schreiber, 27 South 10th Street. And I just don't know that anybody stopped to do the math and thought about the fact that people don't have extra money laying around that they're not already spending, that they've just kind of earmarked for gambling. So for every $1 that they spend gambling, that's a $1 that they didn't spend on buying a product, whereas we could have gotten an 8.1% tax rather than a 5% return. So we're going backwards 3.1% in my mind with every $1 spent on gambling. That's it, short and sweet.
I'm not disapproving of your point, but the city only gets 1.5% of the tax.
Of the tax, of the sales tax,
We
okay.
get the home rule tax and we get 1%, so it's not quite that we're getting the whole 8.10 or whatever.
Right, right.
Okay.
I still don't like the math of the whole thing though. With the 5%, we get 4 more police officers, maybe. And it becomes a wash because we're going to need those officers just for that gaming policing. That's all.
Good evening, Bill Tilley, 5 South 2nd Street. My wife and I have made major investments into downtown. We have a big building, we have our own business. I understand the bar owners are hurting, so are we. And what I'm seeing is, yes, the bar owners are going to flourish, But as the previous lady said, that's money going away from my business, from John Conkright's business, from everybody else, because that discretionary funds, those extra monies aren't going to be there because it was lost in the bars. The other thing is, Illinois has a no smoking ban. So where are these people going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning? They're going to be standing out on our streets, drinking and smoking. Is this the view of what we want to have when tourists come through? Also, Governor French Academy lets their students out at lunch. So you're going to have people standing out on the street corners, drinking and smoking as these kids walk up and down, waiting for that next machine to open, waiting for their turn at the machine. Is this the perception we want to give to these kids? Thank you.
My name is Bethany. I work at Stevie Ray's Bar and Grill with Marilyn U. Meyer. I live in Swansea. I'm a bartender and I'm a cook. And unfortunately, I just think some people need to come back to the reality that people are going to smoke, people are going to drink, people are going to gamble. It's not a sin. If you don't want to be around it, then surround yourself with a different environment. And let the business owners run the businesses the way that they want to. Michaela Miller. I live on Royal Heights Road in Belleville, and I am the general manager of Silver Creek Saloon. I am not a gambler myself, and just because you put the video gaming into the establishment does not mean that I'm going to start gambling. I think that people that gamble are going to gamble. They're going to go to Casino Queen or wherever to gamble. If you don't gamble, you're not going to start miraculously gambling just because we put them in our establishments. And as far as like the violence and all that, if we do have to increase security, all it is increasing jobs. The more revenue that we have that we give to the city is also more revenue for us to give more jobs. It's going to create more jobs. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. People are going to gamble whether you keep the money in the city to support ourselves or they go to East St. Louis. So.
Is there anyone else?
There's no one else outside that one.
Okay. You had a turn ring, Ms. Marilyn.
But you're going to give us a second chance?
Well, just a second, Mary.
My name is Barry Gregory. Along with my wife, the other Patty Gregory. We own Crehan's Aries Pub at 5500 North Belt West. I'm also the District State Vice President of the Illinois Licensed Beverage Association. Prior to passage of this law, we worked about 3 years preparing the legislation on it. Video gaming is about getting people back to work and improving infrastructure. Already we've seen a result here in Belleville of the capital improvements with the funding that's going towards the forensics lab right here at Lindenwood. Future projects include the reconfiguration of the intersection at 158 and highways 15 and 13. Security's been one thing mentioned here. How many incidents are there with people leaving banks in Belleville after cashing their paychecks? Okay, so you say the bars are open later. Well, how many incidents are seen with people cashing their lottery winnings at the 24-hour convenience stores? This video gaming is more regulated than the lottery. As it's been talked about, in order to participate, you must undergo background checks of every business partner. Then there's the site inspections. The machines are connected to the internet via the central service system, and they're downloaded daily. So a criminal element is a non-existent factor. There's also been talked about other security issues and higher crime. If you look at the states such as Louisiana, Montana, Virginia, or West Virginia that has it, that hasn't been the factor. They've had it for years and it hasn't existed. The hospitality industry is struggling when it comes to the local mom and pop type establishments. We fight the chains every day with their huge advertising budgets. We have higher taxes, we have higher fees, and we're probably the most regulated industry in the state. The city of Belleville last year alone directly received $757,000 in taxes from the hospitality industry. If passed, not only would you receive the 5 cents of every dollar on the gaming, but the sales tax revenue should increase as well. Additionally, you will receive a proportion of the 25 cents that goes to the state for the infrastructure and stuff. We live here, we work here, we spend here. We've worked on this legislation for years prior to passage. Please, if you're not aware of all the facts, there's been a lot of inaccurate statements made today. Please research the facts. We'll be happy to supply you the same things that we supplied the state legislature in going through this fight that we spent 3 years on. Now we've spent 2.5 years since because we had a gaming board that was opposed to gaming. Hopefully, through the application process and the interviews, everything's going to go smoothly from this point forward. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Sam Westgate. I'm with Illinois Coin Machine Operators, and I actually live in Enfield, Illinois, small town east of here. You've heard Barry talk about the gambling bill, or the capital bill. We've heard comments about crime. I'm going to tell you, the gaming board has been very, very thorough in the rulemaking process and in the application and denials and issuance of licenses. One of the things that just came out with last week, as a matter of fact, is the rules that all the payout money will exist in secure vaults to eliminate violent crime opportunities. They have got very extensive rules in that area. Thorough background checks, you've heard a little bit about those. I can tell you that they have, in the terminal operating community, they have issued 63 licenses, but in fact they denied 10. One's already been revoked, and 6 or 8 more have withdrawn their applications because they know the process is too stringent for them to get through. So the gaming board has been very, very thorough. The delays we've heard about the gaming board, obviously there was a Supreme Court case that held things up. Gambling problems, they always get overblown. Quite frankly, the federal government survey study will tell you that less than 1/10 of 1%, or 1/2 of 1% is what the real problem gambling numbers are that exist. We talk about gambling. It already exists in Illinois. We have bingos in churches, we have lottery in our convenience stores and supermarkets, and of course we have casinos and racetracks. All that really, the question is what kind of gambling the state was going to allow. And the reason that video gaming wasn't allowed previously is because the technology did not exist to keep a true fair system and make sure that Belleville and the state gets their fair of taxes. With the internet and computers, that problem's taken care of as well. Heard one gentleman talk about Missouri. Laughing. In fact, Missouri has Keno in bars and has had it, state-run Keno, for several years. I heard about the economy. Well, the local business venues are the ones that are going to benefit here, not a Las Vegas casino group that owns a riverboat or potentially a racetrack. We heard about communities opting out. In fact, the last month of those 70 communities, while the numbers haven't been updated yet, almost 22 of them, I think 22 is the number, that have actually opted back in. Because the reason they opted out originally is they were waiting to see the gaming board rules and what their local options would be. And as far as one thing you do get at Belleville is you get a guarantee. Because in fact, you can let your businesses try to take advantage of this opportunity, see what kind of problems you have, if any, and if you don't like it, you can opt out. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and Alderwomen,
Your name, sir?
my name is Nelson Lang. I'm at 1105 Olive Street in Belleville. I would hope that the last 2 gentlemen who spoke, who were not specifically from the city of Belleville, that all of their comments would be struck from the record and from your minds as you address this issue. This was open for the citizens of Belleville. Thank you.
Eddie Smith, 24 Hilldale Drive, Belleville. Mayor, Council, you got it going on here, Mayor. A lot of numbers here spread out, but I am a citizen of Belleville. My business is in Belleville, Excel Entertainment. I'm a licensed operator in the state of Illinois. Yes, I am from this area. I have my business here. You know, I hate this divide we have with these businesses and what we have with the community. Belleville's a good community. I plan on keeping my business here. I want to live here. okay? The thing is, there's big issues that we can work out on these issues, that whatever the issues might be. But Mayor, the numbers are staggering, from 200,000 to $1 million. Do you know what the number's gonna be? No. Brian, do you know what's gonna be, Phil? We don't. But we need to give this a try. If it doesn't, what the gentleman just said, we can always opt out. But at least give it a try. You got these patrons, you got these owners in this business that are good community people. And I hate to hear them get somewhat degraded on this deal. They're a part of this community too, and I am too. So you give it a chance. If it doesn't work, let's get rid of it. And if we have issues, I'll be glad to work on any of the aldermans or any of the non-people that don't want gaming. We'll work on the issues. That's what we're about in the community. Thank you.
The gentleman's going to speak.
This is from.
You've had a chance. I'll make sure everybody gets the first time before we see the hours.
Good evening, everyone. I do not currently reside in Belleville. I'm attending law school at Southern Illinois University. I'm born and raised in Belleville. My name is Michael Aguirre. I've been a musician for about 12 years. I know that's two professions with great reputations. But anyway, I'm here on behalf of local small businesses. And Patty, I want to salute a very eloquent statement that you made, and I like to punctuate that I contribute so much with live entertainment, with music, to the cultural achievements of this town. Now, with Merle Haggard's songs, I don't know if that works now. But the true solution, as Scott less artfully put it, is for people to come out and support businesses. I've played in St. Louis, in Belleville, and I've seen bars kind of go. I've seen the trickle-down effect of a national global recession that there's more empty chairs in place. Personally, I don't know how installing video games would help me, because 90% of people look at a tip jar like a bear trap. And I also, CD sales are probably going to be coming down too. But there's a very easy solution. I think most of the people that are afraid of just the word gambling, that they have Big Buck Hunter, pool tables, dartboards. What's the golf game? Golf tee. I've lost more money in that than I could ever think to. I've seen these games in St. Louis and other places, and I've never been drawn in by the lights and bells and whistles. But it's not a perfect solution, but what's important are the bars. I believe Fisher's been here for 75 years, and I've been on many nights when there aren't enough people there. Talk about addicting to fried chicken. Anyway, I would encourage people, I know it's this divisive issue and people feel very strongly, but I don't think any one part of our population has a monopoly on morality, be it customers or bar owners. So shopping locally, stopping into the costume shop, to local restaurants or mom and pop stores on your way to a local establishment rather than a chain is a solution. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who hasn't spoken yet who would like to speak? Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Anita Bedell. I'm the Executive Director of Illinois Church Action on Alcohol and Addiction Problems in Springfield. I was there when the bill was introduced and passed in both the House and the Senate in 24 hours. It was a 409-page bill. The legislators did not have time to read it before they voted. It was full of flaws and mistakes. It had to be amended 2 or 3 times before they could even pass it. They had to pass amendments to it after it had been passed the first time. This was not well thought out. But what happened is they connected it to capital construction. So the legislators voted on it because they had capital construction tied in with it. And but the Commission on Government Forecasting and Accountability has said that while video gambling is anticipated to be a major revenue source of capital projects, there is no provision restricting local governments from receiving projects from the Capital Projects Fund, even if that government body bans video gambling machines in their area. So I just wanted to share that. Also, People who have never gambled before could gamble when it's made accessible and acceptable in their local community. It's not just for bars, it's for family restaurants, pizza parlors, bowling alleys, country clubs, golf courses, a lot of places where families would go. They just have one requirement, that one person over 21 would monitor to make sure that no one under 21 goes in there. So the gaming board, people who want the gambling always hold up the gaming board, saying that they will be highly regulated. They compliment them, and then after they pass the bill, they want to rush them to hurry and get it started. So they keep telling them to hurry, 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 where they need to have more time. They don't have enough money, they don't have enough investigators. The gaming board is located in Chicago with another office in Springfield. They will be unable to monitor all of the locations to make sure underage gambling does not occur, to make sure that people who are addicted do not continue to lose their money. One rule that they did put into place is they allow establishments to cash paychecks in video gambling parlors. So people could gamble and lose their whole paycheck. So that's a concern. Another is where they are located in retail liquor establishments. They've done studies and found out that people with problems with alcohol are 23 times more likely to become gambling addicts. So this is the wrong place to put the machines. Another area where they have them is at truck stops, and they've changed the law so that truck stops can be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they do not have to sell alcohol. You cannot put them in packaged liquor establishments, but they could go in places like they said in the paper Brothers' place, where they would just have packaged food and bottled beer and wine, and that would qualify as a retail liquor. So I thank you for your time. It sounds like you have a very good contingency of here of concerned people, and I would commend you on your town. Thank you.
My name is Mark Fisher. I live at 1024 North Douglas. A couple of points. You'll hear the gaming industry glamorize its gambling. It's not gaming, it's gambling. You'll never hear the misery, or you won't hear as much of the misery as you will hear the glamorization of it. You'll never hear anybody cheer about losing money at it, and it preys on a human weakness to get rich quick. Thank you.
Anybody else who has not had a chance to speak? Okay, he's first, and then you'll be next.
Jim Strasbaugh, 301 Sherman Street. I told myself I wasn't going to speak tonight, but listening to what was said, there was a couple points that I felt were I was compelled to state. I would say in the last 10 years, I've probably, as a family unit, spent more money in bars and restaurants. I would put myself up with anybody in this community, the amount of money that I've spent in bars and restaurants in the past 10 years. And I'm opposed to this. I don't think it's good for the city. I don't think that anybody can prove to me that gambling is a solution to any problem. So, I mean, there were bar owners that said nobody that comes to their bars would speak out against this. I've been to Cutter's. Well, I've been in there once a week probably for the last 2 years. I've been to Silver Creek. I've been to Big Daddy. Come on back. Well, I've been there a lot. So I think the point is, I represent an element of this community that spends money in the local bars and restaurants. I'm opposed to it, and I have choices to make in the future of where I will continue to spend my money. The most important thing, and what compelled me to come up here, is I spent an evening at Southside with Mary McHugh. I admired her from afar as a teacher in Belleville Public Schools, but I spent an evening with her at Southside, and the wisdom in that lady is just beyond belief. And what she said tonight was another piece of wisdom that I think we all should take with us. This is a divisive issue. There's a lot of pressure on you. You can take that pressure off. You guys don't have to make this decision. Give it to the community and let the citizens make it. If the majority of the citizens want this, I'll stand aside and I'll accept that decision. I won't stand aside and accept that when a few individuals try to make a decision for us in the community. There are certain issues that need to be brought to the community to make a decision. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else who hasn't had a chance to speak? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sherry Lovell, 24 Hilldale Drive. I've never been to one of these before because I don't like to impose my will on making other people's decisions. I think, I like having a choice in doing what, is evidently has been legalized in the state of Illinois, and I think that, our establishments need that right to be able to offer that, and I think we can all choose whether or not we support it, and we can decide not to support those bars if we don't like that. But I think you don't hear a lot of people like myself come forward, because again, I make my choices for myself, and I don't try to impose on other people. I think you guys do have a responsibility to take all the personal feelings out of it and look at what's best for the community. Because maybe we can't do that. Maybe we can't take our personal feelings out.
Is there anyone else who has not had a chance to speak who would like to speak? Ma'am, go ahead. And you'll be next. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Misty Manassi, and I am the owner and CEO of Grand River Jackpot, which is a licensed terminal operator. We received our license in April of this year. We applied for our license in December of 2010, and it's a very rigorous process. And we've said, there's been some comments tonight that, the gaming board isn't prepared, they haven't been doing anything. What has been going on over this last 3 years? Well, this last 3 years, they've been background screening terminal operators, manufacturers, distributors, and now they're starting on the locations. As well over this last 3 years, they were developing a proposal for a central communication system that's going to monitor all these games to ensure they're regulated. That contract was awarded. Scientific Games is in the process, and right now I believe there's a chance that the gaming board is looking at deeming that system functional, and it's been tested this last month, and it could be deemed functional very soon. They did rigorous testing on everybody. The biggest thing I want to say is I'm a resident of Illinois here, and our state is hurting, and we all want to benefit from this $31 billion capital construction plan. We want new roads, we want the new forensic lab, and I think as Illinois residents, we need to support Illinois. And I want to create, as a business owner, I want to create jobs for Illinois. Our people are struggling, unemployment's high, and I think we all need to work together to try to make Illinois a better place to live. So anyway, I think, I support video gaming, and I hope that I can support Belleville.
My name is Phyllis Lang, and I live at 1105 Olive Street. And I have heard from a lot of business owners in Belleville, and they're the ones that are particularly for these video games. And I will say that I think that it needs to go to the voters. And probably by April, I know it can't get on the November ballot, but by April, and I don't think a fast decision should be made, and I believe that you all on the city council should not have to make that decision for the citizens of Belleville. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who has not had an opportunity to speak? Yes.
I'm Paul Sutherland from 1260 State Street Road, Belleville. I'm not a good speaker, but I don't believe in video gambling. For a number of years, I've worked in a food pantry, and so have you. Franklin Neighborhood Association. You make poor people poor in this community. It's just hard on everybody. We've got very hard times. You look at the paper and see foreclosures on houses, see people out of jobs. It's just gotta hurt the public. For a few people to make money, I think this is ridiculous. I think this is the wrong way to go. And that's my stand.
Dennis Dane, 1100 East B Street, Belleville. I've been associated with Mojack's Tavern in Belleville for 26 years. When we did have the poker machines years ago, I don't remember Mojack's or a lot of the other bars. I don't remember Cutters or any of the bars in the East End, and that's the people I know more than other people, never having a problem or ever calling the place because of poker machines. Yes, we had to call them once in a while for other reasons, but that was alcohol related. As far as security, when the machines, or as far as the crime, when the machines were taken out, I didn't see the big drop in Belleville crime because the machines were all of a sudden gone. The new system that I am told they're going to use, before, if we paid out, which, by the way, there was never a line to play poker machines at the corner bars. People played it all they want. I had two old ladies, they were younger than me. They came in, and their thing was every Friday night. They had $50 a piece. They came in, they played for 2.5 hours. If they won, they won. If they lost, they lost. They had a ball. They did it for entertainment. I know people that go to the boat the same way. They don't become addicted. Some do, don't get me wrong. But nobody's going to lose their house in Mojack or in Cutters or someplace else because we're not the high dollar, high roller that situation. It's more, you know, if you want to go out and have a couple of drinks, gamble, maybe you turn 20 into 100, maybe you turn 50 into 300, maybe you turn 50 into 0. The new system, we're not going to have to handle the money for payouts or anything. We're all going to be in like an ATM machine, where they put the machine, they get the money out of the machine, and you know, it's over. We don't have to deal with it, so we don't have to have the extra money. So it's really better, security-wise, than bars with the new systems than the old. So I really don't see the crime. And as far as people coming in from other communities, because not only Belleville people are going to be doing it, what do we have against people coming in from O'Fallon, any place else, to spend their money in Belleville, at the stores, at the bars, restaurants, anything. And as far as what Chicago does, to me, it makes no difference. I can care less what Chicago does. Nobody's going to leave here or leave Chicago and come to Belleville because of a family. You know, I think this community needs to look at what it needs and, you know, what is best for Belleville, but to also help the businesses and the community with the monies. Thank you.
My name is Susan Shanks, I live at 710 East Garfield Street, and I'm opposed to it. I don't think it should be legalized, and I don't see a lot of businesses going broke if they don't have it. I'm sorry, I've been to Cutters, I've been to Big Daddy's, and places like that. You know, I just really think that you should let the people vote on it, and I don't think you should rush it. Thank you.
Okay. What I would, a lot of good comments. A lot of, I want to compliment you. You've all been very respectful. And I think there's been just what we had hoped, a good exchange of information. This is going to go back to the ordinance committee, and they can certainly take these comments, the questions, the consideration about whether or not it would consider going to the council to be voted on to go to a ballot. We'll have to do some research. I don't have the answers tonight. How soon it could even go, but I don't have the answers. That has to be talked to at the county, and we'd have to talk to the county clerk and to research even those particulars. We will try to have that information at the July 17th ordinance meeting. It'll be here in this room at 7 p.m., Jim, right? So, and it'll be one of the things on the topic. There'll be a few other agenda items. And I think, you know, is it normally 6, Jim?
Yes, it's usually 6 o'clock.
So I think we advertised it for 6, so it will be 6 o'clock.
You got till August 20th to get on.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure I double check that with the county, but I think that's the case. To get it on the November ballot.
Correct.
Right.
Mayor, can I ask a question? Would it be possible for the ordinance and legal committee, or any of the aldermen who wanted to get a copy of the minutes tonight so we can?
As soon as we can get them transcribed, we will. There won't be, there's not approval of them, this is a public hearing, so as soon as we can get them transcribed, we will get the minutes out. I'll get them to you. It's gonna take a day or so, because.
But we can get them.
Yeah.
They will have them before the.
We'll do our best, okay, we'll do our best. Yeah, we can cut the CD, and anybody who wants the CD, we can give you the CD on the meeting tonight. So, it's a possibility. So, we're not gonna rush this process. We're taking our time, and I want to just clarify as we close here tonight. The paper's covered this well, and I'm not, the comment today in the paper says I urged. There was never a urging. My document I sent out might have not been perfect, but if you read it, it said for consideration. For consideration. Now, I have stated repeatedly that I voted to ban the video poker in 1997 because it was illegal. If money wasn't being taxed, some of the problems that were going in the area with people who were running at that time, who were running amok, it was a poor operation. We got rid of it. It's a tough decision. A lot of business owners weren't happy with us at that time with our decision. Council made that decision, and we felt it was the right decision, and I stand by that. My comment in the paper was that now that it's legal, it's something that a lot of business owners have come forward, and certainly before tonight's meeting, I have heard primarily from business owners. And my comment has been, like was said here by some tonight, I know businesses have been struggling, and I know that, I hear them when they say they would like to have a choice. It's America. I believe in choice. I also hear you about your concerns of gambling and some of the addictions in life, and I hear that too. There's been good dialogue here tonight. We can continue to move this forward. By some, there's been a few nasty phone calls and things. I'll let her comment yet.
They can't hear you out there.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's been a few nasty phone calls in that, and we've made no vote as of now. Sometimes the media is good, but sometimes it's not always exactly what you say. So hold that thought. I have certainly been concerned about business, been concerned about revenue. Nobody would like to hire more policemen in this room than me. But you have to pay them. It's just a thought. Nobody liked the wheel tax. I shouldn't say nobody, but many of you weren't crazy about the wheel tax. Many of you weren't crazy about the 0.25% sales tax. And yet, if we wouldn't have taken any action, we would have had to probably cut police. Because that 0.25% sales tax right now is bringing about 1.2 million at least. So there's decisions, especially during these tough economic times. And we've been weighing them out. And we've been having discussions. And sometimes when you have discussions, people start to quote. And, I think this has been very healthy. Don't get caught up in all fear, but yet there's some very good valid points here tonight certainly being made. We will go to the ordinance meeting on the 17th at 6 o'clock. It's not to say that there's going to be any final decision sent to council that night. I think there's still a lot of discussion. That's where the aldermen, and I encourage all the aldermen to come to that meeting that night. And to Jim, I would encourage certainly that night, since the public's had quite a bit of time here tonight to talk, that the aldermen have a chance that night to have an open discussion and some open interaction about that. If any aldermen have somebody particularly, some information or data that they would like to be brought forward at that given meeting that you haven't seen or heard here tonight, you'd have to get with me so that we can see if we can provide it. I don't know particularly what that might be, but if there's something that you think you're missing, we will certainly do our best to get that persons or information present. You've been very patient. It's almost 10 minutes to 9. So I think at this time, we will go ahead and adjourn tonight's meeting. Again, thank you. The next meeting that will have some discussion about this topic will be the 17th, and then we will keep you posted as to how it might proceed from there. But it's not being ramrodded. It's not being run down anybody's throat. And we'll continue, I would suggest we continue to listen and continue to evaluate this. Yes, ma'am.
The date on a lot of people's code job and on the ballot. So that we.
Well, we'll have an answer at the 17th. We'll have an answer. We will talk to the county clerk tomorrow and get the exact, I'm not doubting my friend here from O'Fallon, but we'll get the exact facts so that we know that we can stand by what our deadlines are and what possibilities and what we have to do. I don't pretend to know those facts, for sure. Okay? Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.